We spend a lot of time, rightfully so, on, bedtime and the bedtime routine and how to sleep better at night. What I want to ask you is what are some things we can be doing during the day to set ourselves up? Now, again, obviously we can't control a lot of life stresses, but are there things that we can start doing during the day to set ourselves up for success at night?
So I think probably one of the first things I'd say to that is is what you eat and drink is very important. Okay, so you have your dinner time. Things stimulants like caffeine, etc. I know that's obvious, but it's worth saying
Yep.
that those shouldn't be too close to bedtime. But similarly with alcohol, and that's a question I get all the time from my
Yes.
patients. I'm gonna have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It puts
I'm
me to
gonna
sleep.
puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
And I tell them, yeah, it puts you to sleep, but it puts you to bad sleep. Okay?
Okay.
It promotes your sleep. You'll fall asleep faster. But what happens is, and we've all experienced this, what that does is that REM that we spoke about a moment ago, it delays, depending on how much you drink, it delays that cycle of REM. Okay? So it puts it off later and later in the evening. Okay? When that happens, it builds up pressure. The REM will come back because it's internal in you. It has to come back. It will come back and often promote you awakening in the middle of the night. And I think we've all had that where you have a good bit to drink, you fall asleep, and for some reason you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're a little confused. That's likely just that REM rush coming back and saying push. So the alcohol thing, not a good thing. Winding down in advance, watching what you eat. Exercise is okay. A couple hours before bed. I'm sorry, exercise is okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, now, that's a good question because I do enjoy working out at night. Yeah, it seems like it's harder to go to sleep.
Yeah, well, you don't do it too close to bedtime.
Okay.
A couple hours before. And it also depends on the kind of workout.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to do a very intense cardio workout, it could really delay your sleep onset. If you
Okay.
could do some stretching, yoga, some light,
That definitely ain't happening. That
Fall asleep before the workout's over.
Have you ever seen a grizzly bear try to stretch?
not your favorite athletic activity, I'm sure.
Oh,
What
man.
about water? Water intake. When should you stop drinking water before bed? Is there a time limit, or is there you just drink as much as you want?
You drink to be hydrated, and like I tell them, this is a heck of a thing to say, but I'm going to say I tell my patients, and I was a big marathon runner before I messed up knees. My goal always was to have, your urine should be almost like watercolor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're properly hydrated, and if you achieve that, you're in pretty good shape. Now, do you need to go over that? If you're there, you're probably drinking enough. So if you want the, 8 or 10 glasses of water a day kind of thing is reasonable.
What about, maybe older men? Older men struggle with this more is they've got to get up and they've got to go to the bathroom in the middle
Right.
of the night. I mean, it's a real thing.
It
Look
is.
at me.
Help
Don't look at
Darren.
me. Don't look at me.
Help Darren
It
right
is.
now.
Look at me.
It's going to
Don't
happen.
look at
Yeah,
me,
it
man.
does.
It
It's
does
gonna
happen.
happen.
Already it happens. See, Tyler looked at me crazy. That's why I asked you the question.
So if I'm Darren, should I just wear a diaper to bed?
I already have one. My name on it. Initials, the whole name.
So is that just something? Hey, look, that's something we got to deal with. Is there something that you can do to?
Well, there's two things about that. Part of it is just the inevitability of age,
Yeah.
okay? But the other thing that's important is I've had patients who will get up multiple times to go to the bathroom, and it turns out what's waking them up is not the need to go to the bathroom, but they may be having a sleep apnea. For example.
okay.
Let's,
So
let's
they
go
have
down
their
that road.
apnea event,
Yeah.
and that choking wakes them up, and when they wake up, they go, "Oh, wake up! I might as well go to the
I gotta
bathroom."
go to the-
Okay.
And I've had many patients in my career who you treat their sleep apnea, and maybe they still get up to go, but they're going less frequently because now it's just a natural to go and not induced by the apnea.
So where is the sleep? I mean, we've had a lot of conversations about sleep apnea, and it's a term that's being, that's coming to the masses now. Everybody's kind of under. Break down sleep apnea for us.
So obstructive sleep apnea is pretty simple. It's where the airway, the soft tissues in the airway, the back of your throat, the palate, the uvula, the tonsils, all that back there, when you sleep at night, it relaxes. And in patients who are prone to obstructive sleep apnea, we'll talk about why they are, it relaxes more, all right? Yeah. And so now you take in a deep breath, you're sucking in air, you make a negative pressure up in your airway, it pulls the tissues together, and you try and breathe, and they're obstructed.
Okay.
And then what happens is then you have the apnea. There's no airflow, and then you have a big arousal. So I'm going to do it. I know this is a podcast, so you'll have somebody be snoring.
Yeah.
They'll do that pop open.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And it's that pause and the pop open. The longer the pause, that's the apnea.
Okay.
The risk factors for that, some you can control, some you can't. Again, men more likely than women until women become postmenopausal. Then it's about the same.
Okay.
Weight is a
Yeah.
factor. Neck size, 17 and a half or greater puts you at a greater risk.
Gosh darn it.
What are you, like
Trouble.
23?
Gosh darn it.
You get the
Fan-
giant
23.
Over the years, I've become a pretty good tailor. Somebody walks in my office, I say,
You look at 'em.
18,
18 and a half, huh?
19
Sit
and a
down in the
quarter,
chair.
sit down.
Sit down in the chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A family history.
Yeah.
So what can you control? You can't control age. You can't control sex. Watch the weight.
Yep.
So part of the treatment for obstructive sleep apnea is weight reduction.
Yeah.
But by itself, often that's not enough to prevent the need for treatment with a machine.
Yeah, it's like the chicken or the egg, right? It's sleep is affected by nutrition, and the nutrition is affected by good sleep, and it's like you got to do both of those. They work hand in glove.
It is. And then what happens with these patients, what they do is they're fatigued. So what do? They say, well, they're going to eat more for energy.
Yes.
And what do they eat?
Yes.
They eat carbohydrate and
Yeah.
eat trash food.
Yeah.
So then to get that little burst of energy, their insulin drops, they get tired again. Now they put on some weight. Their apnea gets worse. And I could go over and over about that. And one thing about the position, people will ask, well, what about raising my head? And here's where the bed can come in. If you are a snorer, elevating your head can help alleviate the snoring because it can open up the airway.
Yeah.
However, if you continue to snore or you have excessive sleepiness during the day and all, despite the benefit of raising your head, you might still need to see a sleep physician because you may still have sleep apnea.